Good afternoon, mariners. This is your Tropical Atlantic Marine Weather Briefing for Sunday, February the 1st. It will be valid through Friday, February the 6th, and it has been prepared by the Tropical Analysis and Forecast Branch at the National Hurricane Center. We'll start with a summary of the current hazards. A gale warning is currently in effect for the western Atlantic, north of 25 north and west of 66 west. The warning will be valid through early Monday morning, and mariners can expect winds in the range of 40 to 45 knots, with peak seas approaching 30 feet, primarily north of 30 north. We'll start by looking at the current conditions as of 7 a.m. Sunday morning. The main weather story today is this intense area of low pressure that as of this morning was located just offshore of the Carolinas. Associated with this low pressure system is a setup with a couple cold fronts, this primary powerful Arctic front being the focal point for today. Behind this front, in the primarily northwesterly flow, you can see a very large area of strong winds, including a large area of gale-force winds in the extreme western Atlantic waters. In advance of the front, there's also another area of strong winds, and as of this morning, even gale-force winds in the southwesterly flow in advance of the front. Looking at the seas, again, associated with this low pressure system, you can see a very large area of very rough seas and high seas extending from the coast, just offshore of the coast of Florida, all the way out to southeast of Bermuda. And then as the seas have been building behind the cold front in the Gulf, you can see a large area of very rough seas just to the southwest of the Florida coast. Moving into Monday morning, we start to see high pressure begin to build as the cold front continues to move to the east and south into the Caribbean. In the western Atlantic, behind the cold front as well as in advance of the cold front, we still have an area of fresh to strong winds. And in the Caribbean, as the cold front has pushed through, we have a large area of northerly strong winds in this region. Looking at the seas in the Atlantic, we continue to see an area of very rough seas from south of Bermuda west almost to the coast of Florida and north of the Bahamas. And in the Caribbean, as the seas have continued to build behind the cold front, we have an area of rough to perhaps very rough seas in this region. As we move into Tuesday, high pressure has continued to build over the southeastern United States, leading to improving conditions both in the Gulf and the far western Atlantic. As the cold front has continued to push to the east, we still see an area of fresh to strong winds, again, both behind and advance of the cold front. And the area of strong winds in the Caribbean continues to persist in association with an area of rough seas. Further north, again, just to the south of Bermuda and into the waters to the east of Bermuda, we still have a large area of rough to very rough seas. Looking at Wednesday, we still see an area of strong winds in the Caribbean along what is now a stationary front. And there is an area of fresh to strong winds along that front to the northeast. And in the far northeastern portion of our waters, we still see an area of fresh to potentially strong winds, as well as an area of very rough seas in those far northeastern waters. I did want to mention that by Wednesday, we do expect to see another cold front begin to emerge into the Gulf. By Thursday, we expect that this next front will push off of the southeastern coast of the U.S., across Florida, and into the Gulf. Behind the front, we expect an area of fresh to strong winds, potentially even gale force winds, as well as an area of building seas. And finally, by Friday, we expect that conditions will largely improve across much of our waters, although it is possible that we may see just to the east of Florida, north of the Bahamas, we may see an area of strong winds behind the cold front with perhaps some rough seas. To summarize, a gale warning is currently active through early Monday morning for the western Atlantic associated with a powerful low pressure system that's currently located off the east coast of the U.S. We do expect strong to near gale winds and rough seas in the Caribbean through midweek associated with this frontal system. And another cold front will enter the Gulf and potentially the western Atlantic later in the week, bringing strong winds and building seas. This concludes the Tropical Atlantic Marine Weather Briefing for Sunday, February the 1st. The next briefing will be issued Thursday, February the 5th by 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay safe, mariners, and visit hurricanes.gov/marine for the latest information.